On today's video, I want to do a video of a Framework laptop, why I chose it, what led me to that decision, how I think it's a really good product to future-proof, and also where it falls into preparedness. As I've mentioned before, I am in a master's program in critical infrastructure, and a few of the classes so far have been in cybersecurity. And to do that, I need a Windows computer. I need to run some virtual machines, and I have the Dell Toughbook or equivalent that I showed on this channel before, and that was the replacement to the Panasonic Toughbook. The difference is I needed something that was upgradable, and I needed something that I could carry around easily, and the Toughbooks, the Dell Panasonic, were not conducive to packing away easily. I saw this brand on Linus Tech Tips. I watch his videos sometimes, pretty often actually, and a few years ago he brought up this platform, this laptop company called Framework, and it was designed from its beginning to be upgradable by the user, by the person that purchases it, with minimal computer knowledge and with very simple tools. So that's where this comes in. So this is the 13-inch. This happens to be AMD. They make an Intel one also. And it uses the same screw for everything. And when you order it, it comes with the screwdriver with a little ribbon remover that's at the other end of the screwdriver. The reason that I came to this decision, when I realized I needed a newer Windows PC, that Dell Toughbook that I had was used when I got it, and when I got it, it was already old. But it did great for what I needed with radio stuff and backing up a lot of our personal information. When I started looking, I looked at like the $250 to $300 price range because I wanted something that was cheap, that I wasn't going to do, I didn't need a full PC for, and I wanted something that I wasn't going to be worried about spending that level of money. As I went into the next week of class, for my skill level, we were doing some advanced Linux stuff, and we were definitely maxing out that class. The class was maxing out my skill set, and it was clearly maxing out the ability of that computer I had. So I knew I wanted some basic stuff. I wanted 16 gigs of RAM, I wanted something portable, and I wanted something that had some basic ports on it that I had wanted specifically for what I was wanting. And that included USB-C, USB-A, 2.0, and HDMI. The more I kept looking, I wanted something that my MacBook Pro, my work computer are all USB-C powered. And the price range I was looking at, it was very difficult to find even a refurbished one from a nicer computer that had been rebuilt that did not need a power bank, that I could not just use USB-C on. They were there, but it was very sparse, and when I hit those computers, when I looked at them, they just weren't that great on the specs. I kept coming back to this computer, this maker, I guess, more specifically, because this is a career that I'd like to continue to grow in, this cybersecurity industry. And I'm looking, 10 years down the line for career growth and what's going to be kind of the next good industry to be into and have a good background in. This computer, again, is designed from the very inception of the company to be upgradable. So this is the DIY kit. When you order it, it comes with the SSD, the RAM, and it also comes with different ports. I'll get to those in a minute. Everything on here can be fixed or upgraded. Everything. So from the bezel to the screen, the camera, the keyboard, the keys itself, the actual interface, the input surface, I think is what they call it, with the trackpad and the keyboard, all the ports, the Wi-Fi card, the battery, everything in here can be upgradable or fixed. That was really big for me because, again, I like getting something nice once and not buying cheaper stuff over and over. When I looked, this was $1,200 shipped. I got the lowest specs on everything I could so I could get a laptop for class, but knowing that I could upgrade later if I wanted to. My wife and I had a conversation because, again, that was significantly outside the budget that we were looking at for a school computer. But this has been amazing for doing networking. I've been able to use it for almost everything I want to do. I still do my video editing, and I still have my Mac. I use that every day for stuff. But everything else, this works really well. Let me get into the computer itself. So I'm going to come up to the camera. This here, so this is the computer. It's similar in feel to a MacBook Pro. So you can see the green bezel. You can pick the bezel you want. I chose green, I like green, and it was going to differentiate when it's open from my computer. It's got cameras up here that I'll go over in a second that have a really nice feature. The keyboard is fine. It's a good keyboard. The power button is the fingerprint sensor, like Windows, like a lot of other Windows computers. You can see, so I put this together when it came in. So let me open it up because that's probably gonna be a better view. You know, this looks like a very good seam line. Like it looks like a great computer. It's like something you pick from a pre-built, manufacturer. And then on the back side, this is another big part. Each one of these are the ports. So I have HDMI, USB-C, and USB-C and USB 2.0, and then there's a headphone jack that just stays on here. These are removable. So I can come in here and say, for some reason, I don't want this HDMI port or this USB-C. Let's say USB-C. So I press the little button and it just pops out. Each one of these have a USB-C that connect inside of here. And then when you pick whatever interface you want, you just slide it in and you're done. You now have a USB-C there. The reason this is really helpful is I don't need an HDMI all the time. What I do need for this class and just in general is I needed more storage space. But I didn't want to use a micro SD card. I didn't want to do an SD card. I didn't want to do an external drive. But to start, I needed the cheaper version of the laptop. So I ordered, there is one of these little cards, same size, fits in there, flush and everything, that is a 1 terabyte drive. And flash memory, obviously, I guess. And now I have a 1 terabyte external drive that's on here that's attached to the computer. And all I have to do is I'll just take out the HDMI or the USB 2.0. And that modularity is huge. The screws on here, there's only 5 screws on the back. They stay in when you unscrew them. They've got the little piece in there so they don't come out. The keyboard is magnetic, so it pops into place really easily. Everything is very easy on here. From a work standpoint, again, this is always upgradable. So say right now it's got the AMD, the version, say it's got, the next AMD 9000 that comes out in a couple of years. I just pop that out and pop it back in. Same thing with Intel. Say for some reason I just hate AMD and whatever reason, I can remove that and put in the Intel board and I'm done. And it's a couple $100 and now I have roughly a brand new computer. Same thing with the screen. The screen breaks or I want a new resolution, take it off, put it on. Another thing with this is I did the DIY like I mentioned, and I chose Windows 11 Home, but this can take any OS operating system aside from Mac that you can think of. So the Linux versions, Windows, you can just load whatever you want on here. It's a blank slate. That was the only part that went outside my skill level, my comfort zone, but YouTube, as always, I watched a few videos, figured out how to do it, and then did it. Another thing with this is security that was very impressive to me. So on here, you've got your cameras and microphones up top. And if you notice, there's a little switch that's right here. That little switch, like in some computers, will slide over the camera so you can't see through the camera. And that's a great security step that helps because people can remote on cameras. However, this does not do that. This physically disconnects the camera so it can't be powered on. Same thing with the microphone. A lot of cameras on the cheaper and even some nicer ones, I guess, for laptops and webcams, you can turn on the webcam independent of the little light coming on. This laptop, when you disconnect that camera, or when you flip the camera switch so it's activated, connects the power to the camera. So, and the light's on that same feed. So if there's power fed to the camera, the light will just come on. So it's really good on that aspect too. And from a preparedness standpoint, it's lightweight, it's aluminum. Again, you can put whatever ports you want in here. So for me, if I want to do some radio programming, I've got the USB 2.0 port that I can put stuff on. If there's a new next thing that comes out, whatever that might be, I can put it in here. Not saying you have to spend a bunch of money on spare parts, but if that's an avenue you want to go down, you can have extra screens, keyboards, whatever it is you think might break. And that way, if there was a grid down situation or some scenario like that, or supply chain kind of COVID time, all you have to do is take off the broken piece, put the new one on, and it's working just fine. And that is not able to be done easily with any other laptop that exists. This is so good for business. It is great for computer science students. I guess sort of somewhere in there is me, trying to just, push my boundary a little bit to try and just learn stuff. This is great for preparedness because, again, you can keep spare parts, you can change out ports, you can do whatever it is that you'd like to do. It is a really good computer. And I just wanted to share it. There's a lot of videos you can watch on putting it together. It's the DIY assembly, probably YouTube that on something. But this is just great. I went with AMD because of the power consumption, the low power consumption, and the power you get out of it as opposed to Intel. It's just a great laptop. It's the fact that this is aluminum and upgradable. I feel like this is going to be with me for a very long time because I just don't like buying something and then buying it again. The MacBook Pro that I purchased when the M1s came out, I waited until that generation because I knew it was going to be really good. And the previous MacBook Pro I had, that one lasted a really long time. I think it was almost 7 years. And there were some battery issues, but for the most part, it was still working. And those few things that were wrong with that computer shouldn't go wrong with this because you're still going to be able to upgrade all those parts. So that's it. This is the Framework 13. I love it. I think it's worth checking out. And I hope you enjoy this video. I'm happy to be filming back at the pond. The cows are watching me. So it's just nice to be here. I'm going to try and do a few more videos here at the pond and try and crank some more out over the next, probably once a month is going to be realistic right now. That's it. So thank you for watching.